Nigeria Info.
And yes, we're back. You don't understand. So we have this really interesting conversation anytime we're playing ad, and so those things. There are things that are not for public consumption because we crack jokes and all of that. What you hear on radio is just the tip of the iceberg of what we discuss off air, because it's for our own consumption, Abby.
Maybe one day if you give me one or two green bottles, I go.
Green bottles, Abby.
One or two green bottles. My jatip. You had to correct to my jatip.
Okay, let's start with a Punch newspaper, Lagos, Nigeria. Let's know what you think on Facebook and YouTube. Headers registration begins. NGF Mieti Allah back Akeredolu's order. That's from the Punch.
Thank God for reason. And thank God that the intentions of certain persons across the board, even beyond Nigeria, will not prevail. And we pray so in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Because I believe that there is a movement across Nigeria and outside Nigeria that is hell-bent on causing confusion over the simplest of things. How did we ever get to this point when, at the end of the day, all that was needed was for the Mieti Allah, to sit with the governor and resolve the issue? And what had the order of this is what was finally said at after the intervention of the Governors Forum. It says that the order of the Ondo State governor was misconstrued and misrepresented by a section of the media, and I agree to that. Some of the media we have are completely irresponsible and want to fan the embers of whatever in this country. Let me give you just one example.
Okay.
Over the weekend, a truck in Ondo State, the brakes failed, ran and killed close to about 10, 15 people. A very sad event, but it was stated there that the brakes failed. What was the headline that the newspaper cast? Dangote lorry kills 10 people in Ondo. Now, what that does really is, of course, it sells their paper. 2, it begins to bring all kinds of insinuation into play. For all you know, the driver of the Dangote lorry could even have been an indigene of Ondo. Maybe it's a localized lorry. And so, the media itself has to be very, very careful.
Right.
We need to be careful about the smallest of things that we say in public. Back to this. It says the order of the Ondo State governor was misconstrued and misrepresented by security. He only ordered those occupying the forest reserves in Ondo State illegally to quit. So what was the whole force of Afenifere and all the people, foot stomping and so on and so forth over a very simple directive? Those occupying the forest illegally. This is a notice you can give to even your own household to say that, look, in the bus quarters, I've noticed 1 or 2 guys there. They should move out. It's very simple. Okay? And it says that the criminals, what they've now agreed is that the criminals should be apprehended. Of course they should be apprehended and punished. Of course they should be punished. And it says, no matter their origin, class, or status. And then they now go into other things, but this is the most important thing. You see, look, I know that there are loads of security lapses in this country. The government, and I know that it is difficult as otherwise, people otherwise, not to quote unquote defend themselves when they feel there's an attack. But where the issue of elders comes in, I think that has been the Obas, the traditional rulers in this, the first elders we'll talk about. A lot of them have distanced themselves from the real people by their ostentatious. For people come around so quick, also for crumbs to follow the inside them then. If I'm an indigene, them is driving all over town, moving in convoy of this and that, exhibiting gold and so on and so forth, and I can hardly put 1 meal on my table. So there is that disconnect, and then once you leave, some little place wide open, generally some people are going to fall into it, and that is what is happening.
Right.
At 9 o'clock, I'm going to expand on this issue. And I'm also going to address the issue of, what's this gentleman now?
Sunday Igbo.
Igboho, yes. I'm going to address the issue. I'm going to have to advise him on certain things. Things are not what he thinks they might be. And I think it is important that that gentleman, that he knows the implications of the things. Now, don't get me wrong. Because I've heard even the most educated of people saying that, is this how we are going to sit down and allow these people continue to attack us? We will not sit down and allow these people to attack us. But there are things that we can do, okay? And not create another monster in the process.
Right.
At 9 o'clock, we would go through it and we'll be able to talk more extensively about that. But as it is now, the crisis in Ondo, I think, has abated. Maturity has...
Do you think it will work, though? The governor talked about... in fact, that communique was adopted by all the Southwest governors.
Yes.
Well, in it, they talked about underage grazing, night grazing, highway grazing. Those things must stop.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying there's anything. I'm saying, do you think it will work?
It will work. It should work. It should work because we're in a very precarious situation. I don't even think... Don't forget that they are the headsmen and then they are the bandits.
Yeah.
I find it slightly difficult to believe that the headsmen and the bandits are the same set of people.
No, they're not, actually.
So don't forget, you give the headsmen the rules, then you can then face the bandits.
You can go after the bandits.
You can go after, for example, anybody who is heading any form of cattle at 1 a.m., if he's not careful, he knows he's dealing with a shoot-at-sight situation.
The governors agree that there won't be open grazing anymore. Then what then will happen? Is it that the governors of Southwest are looking at giving them some space to now? I'm trying to rationalize.
Some people kicked a fuss about this, more out of pride than common sense.
Okay.
If a government can provide a parking lot, what do you call it, a motor park for people to bring that, why can't you provide where you can move the cattle to, pay some nominal fee, and let us have peace in the land?
Exactly.
And then somebody comes up to tell me, hey, because they are Fulani, we don't want them to have any piece of our land and so on and so forth. That is idiocy. It's idiocy. If you know you don't want to eat meat anymore, then tell them not to come. But I don't see anything wrong in preparing run by the government.
Yeah.
Just like a motor park,
exactly.
you charge some nominal fee, maybe per head or whatever it is. And for God's sake, let us have peace in the land. What has infiltrated our thought process, especially in the Southwest, is this very strong desire of certain persons over time for various reasons. Some, the reasons come from way back, all the animosities they've had, that Yorubas, they don't want to have anything to do with Northerners. You can't be doing that in 2021. Or let's say you can't be doing 2021. For those who think they're going to have some people to do the Republic, come to any that have contributed, being the ones. But that's when you talk about our leaders are this. Part of their personal agendas, failings, they attribute to something else. When you hear there will be no whatever unless you have restructuring. Who is I'm a Lagosian. The biggest problem I have is by my fellow Lagosians in authority and in politics. Of those who even claim to be Lagosians in politics. They are the biggest problem that I have. I'm not marginalized by any other. I don't have any business with them. But in my own state here, I'm marginalized by my own people. By my local government chairman, by my governor, by the political heads. Let us call a spade a spade. I have no business with any. I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But because of their failings, it's so easy for them to now start pointing fingers. If you're a government contractor and that is your business, not mine. In all honesty, that is not to say that there are no excesses at federal level. The imbalance in that area has to be addressed. But that's not why I'm going to pack my bag and baggage and carry a passport apart from a Nigerian passport. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So our people should be very clear in their minds. As the average Nigerian, what is problem? We all live together. Half of these people that keep saying we want to leave Nigeria, who watch their streets at night? Who are their security guards? When they go to buy suya, have you seen any Yoruba man selling suya?
It's very
At the meetings where these things are happening.
Yeah. Jimmy, let's move on quickly.
I was just warming up on this.
Let's move on quickly.
Okay,
we'll shift it to 9 o'clock. Abby?
Which, of course.
Okay. Vanguard is next. State of the nation. Nigeria going Soviet Union way if. That's credited to CNS leader.
Well, it's not so much who said it, but the fact that it has been said over and over again. And there's no point beating, we've already spoken about it a few minutes ago. We all just need to be careful and learn to live together. And let us be very careful of the mischief of our political leaders. It is very, very important. Very, very important. The mischief of our political leaders across the country. Talking about IPOP, talking about wanting to do a republic, talking about this and that. These are people who have their own personal aggrandizement with other people. It has nothing to do with us. And they're not ready. They're not ready to put themselves forward, okay, for positions that to be voted for positions in which they will have some moral authority to even speak. One man just gets up on me and says, I'm speaking on behalf of Yoruba land. That's not how it is done. That is not to say, I need to keep repeating, that is not to say that we do not have issues that we should confront. In fact, that lack of leadership, purposeful leadership at the top amongst all these, both Ohanese and Afeni, that lack of leadership, and even NCF, that lack of leadership is what is going to end up ruining this country. The people themselves have no problem. I don't have problem with any northerner. I don't know where anybody comes from. But it's all these political leaders, for whatever it is. And we need to make sure that, by the way, I need to also tell people very quickly, in case you don't listen at 9.
Okay.
Please be very careful of two things. The information that is sent to you and the information that you forward. I'm going to say that claiming that this information was forwarded to you doesn't exempt you from the liability of proving that the content of what you forwarded is true.
Indeed. Let's go pick up the Punch again. We'll drop the Vanguard for a moment. Afenifere PDP Middle Belt Forum kick as FG insists insecurity was in 2015.
Yes, that was because it was Alhaji Lai Mohammed. He said that the insecurity was worse in 2015 than now. I don't know which country Lai Mohammed is talking about. But what the federal government should actually do is come out and tell us that, look, we let them admit, and let us tell them the way forward. It's not enough just to throw rhetoric. Just people know that the insecurity that we have now is almost 50 times more than it was. There's no need for an argument on that. Everybody knows that. So rather than say things just to sign a press release, let the government come and tell us. If they can no longer handle this thing, for God's sake, let somebody else handle it. If we have a problem with the leadership of this country at the topmost level. Let us call a spade a spade. We have a problem with the leadership of this country at the topmost level. And whether we are going to sacrifice the lives of 220-something million people for the interest of one man, not wanting to embarrass him or whatever it might be, is left to us to decide. But definitely there's a problem. There is a problem. This is not how a country should be run. At all levels. Is it COVID? Is it insecurity? Is it the economy? Where every money in sight now, you now want to go and grab pension funds. You understand? There is something wrong. There is something absolutely wrong at the center. And unless we address it, we'll be groping in the dark.
All righty. We'll stay with the Punch. FG extends eased lockdown by 1 month. FG extends eased lockdown by 1 month.
When I saw this story, I didn't even know what to make out of it because I don't even know if we're in any form of lockdown again. to be honest, even the curfew, at least in Lagos, is not holding.
It's the curfew they are talking about.
But it's not holding.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know that. It's
there's no lockdown anywhere.
But there's a story that interested me here, and it says that the first batch of vaccines will arrive in February. This is the secretary to the government, and it says that the initial 100,000 doses Nigeria was expecting would now arrive in February.
Right.
And he wishes to, over these 100,000 doses, he wishes to assure all Nigerians that the vaccines will be safe and effective when eventually it is deployed. That is the 100,000.
Yeah.
It is a joke. And we enjoin everybody to join in the campaign to eliminate vaccine hesitancy. Bring the vaccine first and let us see whether will hesitate.
I also heard that we've placed an order for 10 million doses. What I'm not sure about is whether 10 million doses they are part of the 42 or 40 million that was announced earlier.
Sheriff,
Yeah.
let us be honest with ourselves. Okay. Again, I said we have a problem with governance generally. By now, we should have an action plan. It's going to arrive by look, you are going to air freight them in, so it's not coming by sea for 28 days or whatever it is. You want the vaccines, you go to Pfizer or whoever it is, you pay your cash. First of all, another issue that came up last week was that all of a sudden we don't have storage for these vaccines. We have, we don't have. We don't have, we have. That kept on going on. But let me quickly crack a big joke here. And that, to be a good man, Sheriff, in this country is very sweet.
Okay.
The SDF recalled that at a time, he recorded 28 infections in his house, 15 in his house in Abuja, and 13 in his house in Yola. But his house is not a face-to-face thing. So where are all these?
He said his cooks.
He has 13 cooks.
Came down. No, he said some of his domestic staff, including his cooks, came down with COVID.
13 in Yola, and he had 28 infections.
Well, you know.
As a big man, sweet, it's a joke.
Exactly,
it's a joke.
Exactly. I mean,
Sheriff, it's a joke.
It's interesting,
Sheriff is a joke. Don't mind me, I'm a mischief maker. I don't know that, big man sweet. I have only one person.
Sweet now.
I have only one person in my house. Me and me alone.
Let's not talk.
That is me and me alone, I beg.
When you're big, you're big.
I'm not big. I'm not big.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm not big.
Jimmy.
I'm not big. Don't worry, I will determine your status when I follow you to Ibadan.
Let's go. Let's take this story. Lagos in talks with COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers. Sanwo-Olu is making that note. Target 60% population.
My governor. All rhetoric. And he doesn't manage his whatever well sometimes. Now, this is what he says. He says that we have started a conversation with Pfizer, for example. And he says they have made contact with Johnson & Johnson, are not out yet. Okay, the Oxford developers of Moderna has written to us. Of course, they write to, they want to market their whatever. And we have written back to them. When you write back to them, it's either you want to buy it or not. But don't forget that these vaccines have not been licensed.
Yeah.
His first port of call should have been lobbying NAFDAC. Like I said last week, So that he can buy. Then he says that, of course, he now has an initiative that I like. He says they will get the private sector involved. Okay? Maybe they'll get donations and so on and so forth. I don't have a problem with that. But this is where I have a problem.
Okay.
We don't have to vaccinate the 20 or 22 million population that we have. And that the plan is to ensure that there is herd immunity, and that typically demands about 50 to 60% of our population. The question number one, this is why the governor shouldn't have said this, even if he intended it. Question number one,
okay,
who is going to determine the percentage of those who will vaccinate? So who are going to be the fall guys for your herd mentality?
Wherever the vaccine we have gets to me. That's where we
you
stop.
Don't say things like that.
That's what he's trying to say.
It's an unfortunate thing that you don't plan to target your whole population. You want to target a percentage and hope that you will sacrifice those ones to bring up some kind of herd immunity, which has not been proven. Herd immunity. It is still it's still a controversial subject in Europe about having some kind of herd for something that is going to knock off your population. Most of the people who contract this disease are probably going to die.
Let's even be fair. We still even don't know the overall side effects of COVID to start with.
Yes.
So when someone catches COVID now and the person gets immunity, it still doesn't negate what COVID could have done to the person. This
idea of what I'm saying is, I can understand Sanwo-Olu's problem. He won't have enough resources but you don't. You see, choosing words in public are very key. And I keep maintaining that these people need some kind of specialist to help them go through things like this before you make it public. How you're going to set him some kind of panic if care is not taken. When you say you are determined not to, that, it's not going to go around everybody. You don't say things like that. I think it's very unfair.
If you're just joining us, you're welcome. We're almost done.
Unfair.
We're almost done. You're watching live on Facebook. Drop your comment. Let me hear what you think about what Jimi is talking right now.
What our leaders should do is, if we are waiting for help, then they shouldn't take the vaccine.
Okay.
Himself and all his political leaders should sacrifice themselves. After Jesus sacrificed his life for all of us, why can't he do so likewise?
Oh. Okay.
So they should, but people, they'll secretly go ahead.
They will not just send you pictures now. They will take it. You will not get pictures. You don't see anything.
No. And also, there's this other story here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. There's this other one here. Abiru debunks involvement in LASU VC election process.
Yes, Abiru is the new senator, and there's this gentleman, Balogweko. His name is Abisoye Oyeyemi Oshodi, who levied some, accusations against him. And he says that in a 10-minute video published by it's not one Abisoye Oyeyemi Oshodi is well known in Lagos. He comes from a reputable family. It's been a very strong critique of the goings-on in Lagos. Okay. And I don't think that a lot of what he says should be swept under the carpet. I'm not saying whether I support him or not. That's not the issue. But the issues that he keeps bringing up regularly need to set us thinking in Lagos about the way forward for our state. And therefore, he should not be treated by saying, one something. No. It's not just a nobody. Okay. Whether what he said about Abiru is true or not, I honestly don't know. But I just want to use this to call attention to Lagosians that this gentleman consistently, I think he's on Instagram or so, has been raising issues concerning Lagos, especially the leadership of Lagos, and therefore should not be completely and totally ignored.
Right.
Okay, the issues that he brings up, we need to look at them. I know this is not going to sound pleasant to a lot of distinguished Lagosians, but that's the price you pay for some of the things that you do, in all honesty. And that's the price you pay for being out there in the public.
Okay. All right.
So that's my view on that.
So someone is reacting to what you said earlier about herd immunity and 60%. Babs Ola says, Uncle Jimmy, reality is that some Lagosians will not take the vaccine, at least in the immediate term. So it may be correct that not all Lagosians will be vaccinated.
You need to understand what I said. What I said is that as a chief executive of a state, you don't say things like that. Because what they're doing in other countries is to encourage everybody to take. That's what's going on in the modern world.
Right.
So you don't come and say your plan is to vaccinate. How do you determine who will be vaccinated and who will not? Is it by their tax papers or what? What criteria are you going to use?
Right.
Or is it just going to be for the elite? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we know the reality, but don't rub it down our noses.
Jimmy, we must go now, but
2 minutes.
We must go now.
Yes, that's what I said. We have only 2 minutes.
Okay.
I just wanted you to see this.
I've seen your wristwatch.
Sharif, people must understand that we deliberately try to put in a bit of fun.
Yes.
Because there's enough to make you look for the next gun runner and tell you to put a bullet through your head. This job is very frustrating, I must say. But what can we do? So I'll see you at night.
All right, Jimmy. Thank you for coming around. Many thanks to our sponsors, MTN Nigeria. At 8 o'clock, we'll be talking COVID. And there's this new drug that is making the rounds right now. I have a public health physician that will be joining me at 8 o'clock. And we talk about maybe vaccine is an overkill. Maybe the right thing to do is just around the corner. We'll talk about that more at 8 o'clock here on Nigeria Info's Morning Crossfire. Good morning to you, Lagos. I'll be right back after the news.
Baby, wake up.
I'm awake. What happened?
When you carry me from my papa house, enter this our house, you promise me say you no go lie and cheat on me.
Lie and cheat, ke?
You're lying, no. No be 3K data per month they do for the two of us. Why if you say when my own finish, you go see the browse. You go call the laugh for WhatsApp and Instagram. Come even they send me message.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.